Hey everybody, this is your friend Daniel Hutchins, and I'm back again. So right now I'm simultaneously doing YouTube on my PlayStation and Scooby-Doo Music of the Vampire on HBO Max. But we're not there to talk about those. We're talking about an article discussion from our friend Screen Rant. So today from Screen Rant, we're talking first about Batwoman. Yeah, Batwoman. So Batwoman confirms Harley Quinn existed in the Arrowverse post credits. Casual references by the former Joker minion established Harley Quinzel was an Arkham Asylum psychiatrist in the post crisis of Arrowverse. Okay, this is an hour ago, everyone. So there are spoilers for the Batwoman season 3. Okay, Batwoman season 3 episode has confirmed Harley Quinn does exist in the post-crisis Arrowverse. The episode detailed that Harley was once the Dr. Harley Quinzel, that she previously worked in Arkham Asylum. An important distinction, as earlier noted in Arrowverse series, that made reference to Harley Quinn. There is nothing to suggest since she had a background similar to the DC Extended Universe version of Harley Quinn, but there have also been other versions as well. Okay, so let's keep going. One of the plot holes in Batwoman Season 3 has tasked them to track down an ex-con who once served the Joker, and they designed a special joy buzzer for the Joker, which has unleashed a charge that, when applied to head, could cause a person to become crazy and unempathetic as Joker himself. He's unleashed this weapon once the young person was later set himself up to be the new Joker in the new Batwoman. Now, it is hoped that the second shock might undo this damage, prompting the search for this person so they can fix it. Okay, so these people who told Batwoman's arch enemy and former Poison Ivy host some advice about a therapist, giving her about how impossible it is to move on your crimes from your past until you took responsibility for the harm you did. They said that to both women, and to make it more jarring, when she revealed to have allied herself for set a trap for Batwoman's allies. Story was a lie, though, but she admitted that it was all true and that she also had no intention to try to move on from her criminal past. In her defense, though, her therapist was Harley Quinzel, so you know. So while earlier Batwoman episodes mentioned a Harley Quinn, this was the first confirmation that she was Dr. Harley Quinzel. Okay, so many years now, the Arrowverse has forced to tiptoe around how it used to have Joker and Harley Quinn. Due to Warner Brothers' policy of only allowing one live action incarnation of the more popular comic book character, Arrow has skirted the gun with the season 2 episode Suicide Squad. The scene where a female inmate in a August custody asked John Diggle and they needed some counseling. While credited as deranged squad females, it was clear the woman was meant to be Harley Quinn. She was even voiced by Tara Strong, who's played Harley in multiple video games and cartoons. Unfortunately, nothing came of this cameo, even though it is the only indication Harley Quinn existed in the pre-crisis Arrowverse. The Arrowverse showrunners were forced to abandon their plans for their version of Suicide Squad in favor of the DC Extended Universe version. The final fate of Harley Quinn remains a mystery, and though it's known Batman killed the Arrowverse Joker, and this coupled the Arrowverse's new origin story for the Poison Ivy, made it unlikely we'll ever see a recognizable version of Harley Quinn anytime soon. This is a shame because it revitalized Harley and could be a worthy challenge for Batwoman and her friends. Okay, guys. So now we are talking about something else. We're going to Screen Rant exclusives. Okay, guys. Guardians of the Galaxy 4 may have an even bigger problem than Avengers 5. Okay, so Kevin Feige and his friends at Marvel Studios may be facing a bigger problem when making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 than they are with doing Avengers 5. Okay, this is a couple of hours ago. Marvel Studios has a big problem with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 than Avengers 5. The Marvel Cinematic Universe transition continued to rebuild itself after a culmination of the Infinity Saga. Earth's mightiest heroes are already in process of changing their players. And again, the Guardians of the Galaxy will also have to follow suit. Given the team's membership, this could prove seriously problematic. Guardians of the Galaxy, launched in 2014, was directed by James Gunn, and now James Gunn's leaving. So, what is the future, you might ask? As repeatedly confirmed by Gunn, his last movie is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And the plot specifics are tightly under wrap, and there is going to be a teased death or two. Although Batista separately announced the prequel will be his last outing as Drax. However, this story pans out with a big challenge for Marvel Studios in regard to continue the MCU sub-franchise from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4. Now, we don't even have a 3, so how are we having a 4? That's a good question. But at this point, several members of the next iteration of Earth's Mightiest Heroes might long been established in the universe, with additional ones having been introduced. It's difficult to say the same plan for the galactic counterparts for a couple of reasons. First off, the Guardians of the Galaxy have a closer bond than the Avengers, so members can't just be replaced to complete its roster. Second, since they're cosmic heroes, it is tricky and individually to introduce new characters in an upcoming MCU project. Therefore, their majority of their stories set on Earth. Now, Marvel Studios is able to separately debut fresh heroes for Avengers and bring them together later on, but with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the studio does not have this luxury, making the future the real challenge. Okay, everybody. So, conversely, there also is a chance that Marvel Studios decides the end Guardians of the Galaxy after Volume 3. After all, the MCU tends to do standalone films in trilogy, except for Thor, who's going to be having his next movie, his fourth movie. Now, being said, Guardians of the Galaxy movies are far too popular for a universe to drop their original roster, especially when there's a way to continue the sub franchise. There are several members of the Guardians of the Galaxy team that remain active in the franchise, with a couple additional members introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4, as they do in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The entire new slate is debuted to be in said film. Either way, guys, the biggest challenge is making sure those fans are instantly drawn to those people the same way we were with the originals. Okay, so at this point, Gunn is fully focused on delivering a satisfying Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The pressure is on for a film to succeed considering the final hurrah for the Cosmic Team original roster. Now, since Marvel Studios is known to play the long game, it isn't surprising if they already have laid foundations for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4. Although it seems all but certain a lucrative series won't just finish just yet, it's clear that continuing the poses a different sort of challenge for Marvel than Avengers 5. Okay, guys, let me know your thoughts about that. We're going to keep going. Yes, we're going to keep going. Okay, guys, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Okay. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. If we can find some stuff, should. There's always lots of stuff. Now, hold on. We are looking. We are looking. We are looking. Yes, we are looking. Looking, 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 looking. Looking, 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 looking. Do you want to know when Luke Skywalker met Ahsoka Tano? Well, here's the answer. Because how and when did Luke Skywalker meet Ahsoka Tano? The Book of Boba Fett sees Luke and Ahsoka together. It's not the first time they've met. How long do they know each other? This is 19 hours ago. Okay, there are spoilers for the new episode of Boba Fett. Now, Star Wars has finally brought Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano together in the Book of Boba Fett. It's not the first time those characters met. Now, during Luke's training of the child Grogu in Book of Boba Fett's Episode 6, From the Desert Came a Stranger, it's revealed Ahsoka was present as well, the former apprentice to Luke's father, Anakin Skywalker. However, they are already familiar with each other from the new show, suggesting they may have met from an early part of the Star Wars timeline. Okay, guys. Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, the Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin, ventures to a planet where Luke is training Grogu in the beginning construction of his new Jedi Academy. Wishing to see how the child's doing, Djarin is convinced by a surprise appearance by Ahsoka to not see Grogu, as it will only make the young one's path harder to do the bond they share. After living his gift of Beskar armor with Tano, Djarin concedes and heads back to Tatooine, leaving her to meet with Luke, and he oversees Grogu's training. Interesting though, it's clear that they've already been introduced and have a level of familiarity. Not only did Tano mention that Djarin that she was a friend of the family, but she also noted how much Luke is like his father before he became Darth Vader. Okay, so while there is a rather large window of time where Luke and Ahsoka could have met in Star Wars timelines, there are 2 points that are more likely. Even though Ahsoka was revealed to be a mysterious contact known from the Fulcrum, who helped the Rebel Alliance in Star Wars Rebels, she is largely absent during the Galactic Civil War. Additionally, the canonical Star Wars comics, set between the originals and the films showing Luke's path to how he became a Jedi, he's yet to meet Ahsoka. During his search of information about the Jedi Order and their teaching prior to the return of the Jedi, the possibility has existed that they could meet at some point at the end of the original trilogy. If not, the other option was they met during the 5 years after the fall of the Empire, before Tano sent the Jaren and Grogu to Tython to summon the Jedis to the Mandalorian Season 2. It is likely she knew of Luke by that point and has him in his mind, as there are very few Jedi alive across the galaxy at this point. Okay, guys, so whether it was before Return of the Jedi or the years that followed before Mandalorian, it seems inevitable that the two did meet. Now, Luke was determined between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi to find and learn all he can about the Jedi Order, the quest that continued after the Empire's fall. Likewise, Ahsoka more than likely kept tabs on the rebellion she helped form. Eventually becomes aware of the famed lightsaber wielding hero who blew up the Death Star. Regardless of when Ahsoka and Luke first met, their retrospective journeys collide ahead of the events of Book of Boba Fett did seem inevitable. Okay, guys? So even if it should be nice to know exactly when and how Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano met in Star Wars timelines, including their introduction, their origin, and their first impression and conversations they had about Anakin, hopefully the upcoming Ahsoka series can provide more clues and insight, not only on when the two Force wielders meet, but also in Tano's journey in the general during the Galactic Civil War from beyond. Regardless of seeing these two of them on screen at the same time and interacting was truly the landmark Star Wars moment from the Book of Boba Fett. Okay, so guys, do you want to know more about Star Wars? Now, after all, it is a couple more months until Star Wars Day. Star Wars Day is in the month of May. So I think what I'll be doing these next couple months is talk a lot about Star Wars material because there is a lot of news about Star Wars. So you want to know the answer. What planet is Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple from? Okay, guys. So Star Wars has give viewers their glimpse of the planet where Luke Skywalker built his Jedi Temple. And we want to know which world it was. Okay, this is yesterday, guys. Okay, this is spoilers from the Book of Boba. Now, the Book of Boba has given viewers the real first look at the planet where Luke Skywalker established his Jedi Temple. The show is being careful to avoid naming this world. Again, Master Yoda passed away in the end of Return of the Jedi. He charged Luke Skywalker to pass on what he's learned. It is a charge that Luke took seriously. He swiftly began training his sister in the way of the Force, although she chose to abandon her training. She received visions of her son's death. She continued down this path, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker revealed this that their training was conducted on a jungle planet, a world whose existence had been kept secret by all the Iranian royal family. Okay, now we know Alderaan was destroyed in the originals. But okay, so Luke subsequently established his own Jedi temple where he would train Leia's son, Ben Solo, and many other Padawans. Precious little has yet been revealed about the new Jedi temple, with the sequel trilogy simply showing visions of it burning. Now, Luke's attempt to restore the Jedi was disrupted by Palpatine, who has manipulated Luke into dueling his nephew and takes advantage of the chaos to destroy the Jedi Temple from a force storm. But the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, set long before those events, finally gave viewers the real look of what the new Jedi planet was, although it doesn't have a name. Okay, guys. Luke Skywalker seems to have chosen to base the Jedi on an uninhabited forest world. Viewed from space, it actually is remarkable, similar to Agen Kloss. But the vegetation and landforms are very different. Besides, where which if Kylo Ren had trained under Luke or Agen Kloss, he'd have been able to recognize this planet when he experienced visions of it through his Force dyad with Rey. Now, it's likely this unknown planet is in emergence in Star Wars Force, presumably because, like Dagobah was, it contains so much life of the living Force and is particularly strong there as well. Luke may well have discovered this place while also researching similar planets rich in the Force. Therefore, during his training, when he reviewed ancient Jedi holocrons from High Republic eras for more knowledge. Okay, guys. Lucasfilm's decision not to name this planet is certainly interesting. It may also mean that this planet audiences have heard of before, whether it is canon or Star Wars legends. They are careful avoiding revealing this fact in the really moment. Alternatively, it also means that Luke has settled the Jedi on a world that's not been named at all. Establishing the Jedi Temple on a planet he discovered through the Force power known as wayfinding, Din Djarin seems to have found his way to the Jedi Temple because he's been tracking Fob and has keyed the Grogu's life signs. He's likely never knew the planet name in the first place because this planet doesn't have a name. Whatever this answer to this mystery is, it is sure to get revealed in time. Book of Boba Fett revealed Ahsoka Tano has already met Luke Skywalker and passed on information about Luke's dad. Now, it's reasonable to assume this relationship between Luke and Ahsoka is going to be explored in Ahsoka on Disney Plus. Now, that would probably involve revisiting the Jedi Temple, and the Book of Boba Fett has given us a more proper look at the Jedi Temple under construction. It's unlikely to be this last glimpse, though. Okay, guys. So, let me know your thoughts. The time check is 23 minutes. But first, let me check my notifications. I'm going to close that out and close that out. People just blowing me up. I don't know why. Okay. So let's go back to Screen Rant. And we're going to find some new stuff. Because there's always new stuff posted all the time on Comic Book Universe. Okay, guys, there is always new things posted. There's always going to be new things posted. Now, okay, guys, we're looking. Yes, we are looking. Okay. Now, okay. Okay, guys. Do you want to know more about the MCU? Yes, I'll tell you more about the MCU. The MCU's next big villain could explain a huge Phase 2 mystery. Okay, the MCU's next big villain, Thor Love and Thunder, Gore the God Butcher, could finally solve a major mystery that's been around since Phase 2. This is from yesterday, everyone. Okay, the MCU's next bad is Gore the God Butcher. He can explain a major mystery that's been around since Phase 2. Now, the world building of Guardians of the Galaxy established this concept with Celestials, who also raised some important questions about characters that have never been answered. The next Thor movie could be the latest MCU movie to incorporate magnificent, powerful entities. Okay, everyone. But based on what we know about Thor's next big screen movie, Thor Love and Thunder, it has explored some old and new MCU gods. Now, in addition to returning Asgardian characters, they're also going to be bringing Russell Crowe. He's going to be playing Zeus. Now, the leader of the Greek pantheon and gods and father of Hercules, which could also might be shown as well, which would also make sense when taking into consideration who the villain is. Now, following the battles of Hela and Thanos, Thor and his friends will be against Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher. Now, in comic books, Gore is an alien who traverses the galaxy on a hate driven killing spree against all the gods of the pantheons. Gods like Zeus and Thor are sure to become targets of his character in the interpretation of this story. Okay, everyone. So, is Gore the God Butcher? Again, Marvel could explain the celestial mystery from Phase 2. The Collector was given Star-Lord's team a brief overview from the Celestials from Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Therefore, there is a sense that there were these cosmic beings in part of MCU history, and therefore, no longer there's their concern for its present day characters. Now, reinforcing the notion where the Collector base is on Nowhere, which was the head of the fallen Celestial. Now, although there are appearances from the Celestials, like Abraham the Judge in Eternals, they've made it pretty clear there's still some out there. It seems like some event in the Marvel Cinematic Universe has pushed past this by the side. And of course, for what they could be, it's possible that Gore somehow decimated their population, leaving just a few left in the universe. Okay, this is interesting because the cosmic beings have used their powers to create life across numerous galaxies in the Marvel Universe. Marvel needs an explanation for why they've been absent from view for so many years. One that can be found from Gore the God Butcher. Now, looking at this amount of power they've possessed and how they are commonly referred to as space gods, or certainly fit the criteria needed for them to fall under Gore's purview. It may be that Gore has murdered them a long time ago with his trademark weapon, the Necro Sword. Now, in comics, this weapon was created by Null for a specific purpose of killing Celestials. Okay, so of course, making Gore responsible for eradications of Celestials can prove problematic for their own power. Now, it's strong enough to pull off such a feat. His defeat at the hand of Thor could seem unfathomable, but at the same time, it may not be impossible for Gore to pull this off, especially since he'll likely be armed with his sword. Therefore, the Marvel Cinematic Universe can explore and explain what has happened to Celestials simply by laying out the backstory of the Sword of Gore himself. Now, rather than relaying their previous deeds, the characters in Thor Love and Thunder may also learn that Gore also wields a weapon forged by a being who massacred the Celestials eons ago. Okay, everyone. This is really, really cool. So let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. There's always more in the universe. There's always going to be more, guys. Always. Now, we're going to keep looking. Yeah, we're gonna keep looking. Yes, we're looking. We're looking for stuff that's more somewhat recent, because that's what we focus our stuff from. Okay. Uh, okay, everybody. So this is a little bit of controversy. This is from yesterday. So Star Wars proves the sequels made a mistake with Luke's exile. Okay. Many viewers were unhappy about Luke Skywalker's self imposed exile from the sequel trilogy and recent Star Wars tie ins showing a different path. Okay, guys, this is yesterday. Okay, Star Wars tie ins have proved the sequel trilogy made mistakes with Luke Skywalker's exile. J.J. Abrams' approach to the story, where he establishes a number of mysteries from the beginning of their story, will drive the rest of the narrative. He took this approach when launched the sequel with The Force Awakens, but actually, unfortunately, he didn't actually have answers planned out to the many questions film raised. Now, Luke Skywalker, what the fuck? Stupid advertisements. But okay, but unfortunately, he didn't actually have answers planned out in many of the questions his film raised. Okay, you got me? So, Luke Skywalker, his mysterious self imposed exile, was the example because we need to know why Luke had to disappear, but we hadn't really figured out why it happened. Okay, guys, here we go. It fell on to Rian Johnson to explain this in The Last Jedi. Speaking shortly after the sequel, Johnson had explained he'd found Luke Skywalker exile very challenging to explain. Now, to his view, Luke had clearly gone down a very dark path, pulling himself out of the fight and hiding in the most unfindable place in the galaxy. A place that was so remote it took the entire movie for the most heroic people to find him. Now, Johnson concluded Luke's motives had to be found from tragedies. He came up with an introspective tale in which the moments of weakness has destroyed Luke's relationship with his nephew. It's led down to the slaughter of other Jedi trainees. This idea has proved controversial, therefore many heartbroken not to see a heroic seasoned Jedi Master always imagined Luke to become. Therefore, oddly enough, Lucasfilm latest tie-ins have pointed this out. There were some other options. Okay. Alternative explanation has hailed from Lucasfilm's Star Wars High Republic Transmedia Initiative. From the first phase, he's told the story of the Jedi War against a group of space pirates called the Nihil. Master Yoda has mysteriously disappeared as well, also leaving the Jedi reeling in the loss of a venerated Jedi Master. They concealed themselves in the Force for an unknown reason. Again, it's later revealed that Master Yoda's disappearance in the High Republic was response for prompting of the Force because Yoda sensed a great disturbance in Force, common threats to the entire Jedi Order. Following the Force in his will, he launched himself to a mysterious quest to gain the ally he can to help the Jedi learn the truth of the monstrous Force predators called the Leverwills, who are being used by Nihil. Now, Lucasfilm could have taken a similar approach with Luke Skywalker from the sequel trilogy, although it reveals he was on a quest to unravel the dark truth behind the First Order. This would have avoided the adverse fan reaction from Last Jedi and their pretext, and resolved several awkward questions about this narrative. Okay, guys, let's keep going. So, in the High Republic, Yoda finally returned in Daniel Jose Older's novel Midnight Horizon, stepping from the shadows in the moment when the light of the Jedi seems destined to be snuffed out. The group of Jedis on Corellia were about to be overwhelmed when a fearful smoke bombs the Nihil used to cast aside. The foul and yellow-gray clouds parted to reveal the diminutive yet also powerful Master Yoda. He alone turns the tide of the war. The sequel trilogy could have feasibly employed a similar narrative device to Luke Skywalker, although, rather than abandoning the battle, he could instead have been playing this part he sensed he needed to. Ironically, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker revealed just kind of the deeper truth he could have had by learning when he brought back the Emperor. Palpatine, of course. Now, such this approach would, of course, have required a lot more planning by Lucasfilms, but although figures at Lucasfilm initially claimed they have always planned out to bring back Palpatine in the end of the sequels, it turned out not to be as true, because J.J. Abrams was the one who came with this idea when he's returned at the end of the saga. And a little more planning could have created a lot more potential arc for Luke Skywalker, including one similar to the tale told of Master Yoda from the Star Wars tie-ins. Okay, guys, so let me know your thoughts about that. Okay, time check is 36 minutes. Well, actually, almost 37 minutes technically. But okay, so we're going to be doing one more thing, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, last thing we're going to talk about is No Way Home. Yeah, No Way Home. Spider-Man again. Spider-Man No Way Home, hard scene to write, didn't involve any multiverse characters. Okay, everyone, this is the last thing we're talking about. This is yesterday. Spider-Man No Way Home writers have revealed a scene that was very difficult to write. Director himself, John Watts, and other co-writers have been involved with Tom Holland's MCU trilogy since its beginning with Homecoming. Recently, they returned to wrap this up, writing the most ambitious Spider-Man movie ever. Again, Peter Parker's first solo outing in MCU, he fights the Vulture, who's played by Michael Keaton. They also figure out how to incorporate Mysterio in the second movie, and the hero has also grieved over the death of Robert Downey Jr. from Endgame. He also decided on the unmasking Spider-Man at the end of Far From Home. Now, the plot twist has remained among the best of this franchise. They were tasked with bigger missions when Marvel and Sony wanted Holland to have a third film, the tie-in all three eras of live-action Spider-Mans. Luckily, they pulled this off without any difficulty. Okay, everybody. So during recent appearance of the Q&A with Jeff Goldsmith via Direct, which is a news site, the writers duo open up on the challenges of working in Spider-Man No Way Home. Screenplays which say while fans might expect the scenes between these three Spider-Man, they have particularly been tricky because they have revealed the hard part of the film to crack the actual dialogue between Peter and Doctor Strange. Specifically, this crucial moment, Peter decides to disobey his friend, and you can read his quote below. I mean, some scenes just have a lot of heavy lifting, right? So any of those scenes where we had all the villains together, and then Peter's gonna come in and he's gonna learn some things. Then Doctor Strange's gonna show up and he's gonna explain what he's doing. Then Peter's gonna say, no, 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 don't do that, because they'll die. I think probably the scene right before Peter takes the box away from Doctor Strange. Okay, guys. So there are a couple of reasons why working from this scene was difficult. Because firstly, there were a lot of characters present. Therefore, the primary conversation was between Peter and Doctor Strange. They needed to make sure the rest weren't just idly watching them argue. The interdimensional bad guys, their fates, they're disgusting. Secondly, a pivotal moment that kickstarted the events of the rest of No Way Home. It led to the heroes fighting and the sorcerer being trapped in mirror dimensions, essentially making him unavailable for most of the narrative. If this scene did not work, it would be difficult to justify that by Peter's insistence on going through all the trouble to want to save his friends, the villains. Now, Spider Man No Way Home isn't a flawless film, though, much to the critics' problem that it lies in how it sets up interdimensional narratives. Therefore, it includes an aforementioned conversation between Peter and Doctor Strange. Despite their issues, it's still a satisfying finale for Holland's trilogy, especially with their regard to how they were able to accomplish it by bringing back the two former Spider-Men. Okay, guys, so again, let me know your thoughts. This is the end of another live stream. So again, please make sure you comment and you make sure you subscribe if you have not subscribed. And you have a great day. And I'll see you guys around later. Bye.